The Dimp Digital Network presents Idle Game Chat.
Hello, apps here from the Dimp Digital Network. Welcome to Idle Game Chat. On this edition, we are reviewing Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. And I've got two members of the Dimp Digital team, both champions in their own right, that are here to review this particular game. First off, we have our current Dimp Digital Gaming Quiz champion. It's Tom Adkins, not Ed Cock. How's it going?
Thank you. I'm doing very well.
Good. And we have our reigning Dimp Digital Grand Prix winner, Biff. Mark Smith Biff, whatever you call him. How's it going?
Yeah, very well, thank you, very well.
You've had some harsh criticism from the internet.
Let's get this over and done with now.
We've had Gunnar from our YouTube channel pick out your review of Days Gone from probably about 8 months ago.
Last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Saying that you could tell after 10 minutes that you hadn't played the game. Do you want to just set that right and confirm whether you did or did not play the game and whether we've been cheating our audience?
No, I did play it. I don't know how he come to that conclusion. I don't know if he was one of the developers of the game and he's upset. I don't know, but I definitely played the game.
Did you? I think in your defence, and this is very rare, you'll get a defence from me to you. I think you had played it. And it'd been a while before we reviewed it.
Yeah, so I think that was the case. It wasn't fresh in the memory. No. Because I lent it to you and
Correct.
You played it.
Yeah.
And then we reviewed it after that, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. So it had been probably for over 4 weeks, which is kind of why I wanted to get you guys on Sekiro now. And people are going, well, hang on, that's nearly a year old, or it's over a year old. And it's like, well, no, these two idiots only sat down and started playing it, a couple of weeks ago. So it is fresh in the mind. Although, when I came on and you was talking amongst yourselves, both of you went, I can't remember what the story is. So, I don't know how fresh this is going to be. Gunnar might be on up our asses again, saying that you guys haven't played it. Now, it's going to be a bit difficult to manage this because there's two of you, but we'll try and get our way through it. I want to start with you first, Biff, because you're a man of very acquired taste. You don't finish games often that you don't like. And it's hard. You seem very difficult to please. We've had all sorts of instances where you get into the last half hour of games and finishing it. Now, what has sucked you into Sekiro and kept you to stay around? Because you'd also given Bloodborne a go and bounced off that.
Yeah. One, I quite like the setting. I preferred the combat because there was sort of a lot of the bosses, there was a logic to it. And 9 times out of 10, I could work it out, but I would die because I'd be like, oh, shit. It's not because I couldn't work out what I had to do. I remember playing Bloodborne and I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, what is this? I don't understand any of this. I just couldn't get my head around it. But yeah, with this, I could sort of understand it more. And the only reason I couldn't kill a boss was because I wasn't good enough, not because I couldn't work out what to do, if that makes sense.
Well, some people say it's part of the game, working it out. I don't know if that's what Gunnar shares that opinion or not, but I'm sure you'll let us know on that. Adkins, also, you had given Bloodborne a go, also bounced off it. Yeah. And you'd got a bit further than Biff, hadn't you? You'd got past Father Gascoigne at least.
I don't remember getting stuck, but...
No, because you were already looking up YouTube videos how to cheese it all.
Yeah, that is true.
So it was very little in the world of you dying in Bloodborne, because you seem to have it sussed.
I would cheese my way through that game. But I was talking to Biff off air about this. There's something with that game that... And I do find it with these Soulsborne games that I do need a good story in my life. And like with normal games, you'd play for an hour or two, and then you'd be rewarded with like a cutscene, and it progresses the story. And because that's sort of taken away from you in Bloodborne, that's why I sort of lost the interest to sort of want to progress.
Yeah,
I get the like the sort of meta of the game where it's learning the enemy's patterns and overcoming, and it is a completely different way of gaming. But it didn't suck me in as much as I do get sucked into, say, like a God of War or an Uncharted.
What do you say to those folk that sit there and go, well, the story is there, you just got to find it and read the notes and work it out? You can't.
I say, fucking hell. No, it ain't. It ain't there. I've looked. I ain't reading through fucking pages and pages. Like, that first bit of story in the game where you're supposed to talk to a little girl through a window. Yeah. How many people must have missed that? And I only seen that in a fucking YouTube video. Yeah. And that's supposed to be like a crucial part of the story to find. I got to that Father Gast guy and he's like, who's this cunt then? But there is like this rich backstory of who he is and what he's done. But you don't, because it don't tell you where to go and that, you fucking miss it. So I ain't playing the game where it tells you to read fucking 400 pages of this fucking rich lore.
Well, the trouble I found was it doesn't even give you that. It just gives you like one sentence. This is cryptic, and you're supposed to try and put 2, 3, and 4 together and work it out. Yeah. I finished Bloodborne. I don't even know what's going on there. All I know is that I've made a howler at the end or whatever I've done. I don't. It wasn't. I had no clue. It was just about playing the game. And
so I think this is what sucked me into Sekiro, because it feels like it almost breaks that mould. I haven't played any of those Dark Souls, the trilogy, but I'm led to believe that they're of a similar sort of ilk as well, where the story is drip fed through sort of secret lore, and you've got to sort that out yourself.
Yeah.
Rather than these AAA cutscenes that you're getting.
This is AAA cutscene territory for Sekiro, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. And the thing is as well, this is a big leap from the other Soulsborne game, because those, you're all creating your own character.
Yes.
This one is you're on your own. You've got one character, one chance.
He's got his own name.
He even got his own name, Bill.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's not, but I'm sure he is lurking there. Well, that's interesting. It's a story that hooked you in. Biff, you've said more about the setting than anything. I think based on what you've both told me, it's quite obvious that you've bounced off Bloodborne for whatever reason. Sekiro sucked you in. I think just on that bit of data, we like the data here at Dimp Digital alone, we can sort of make the assumption that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a much more watered down version of the Soulsborne experience. So those looking to get the FromSoftware sort of membership card, I think you both have just fallen short, which is unfortunate. But the data is there to support it that only the real kings get through Bloodborne. Moving on.
Before a response, moving on.
That's what you got to do. You got to nip it in the bud. So you mentioned that, and we'll be honest about it. I know you skipped some of the cutscenes in this. So Adkins is telling me it's better than God of War in its own way, and then you've got you skipping stuff. How's that fitting in?
Yeah, I didn't like the story. I thought it was pretty shit, to be honest. I lost interest in it really quick.
Well,
so yeah,
that.
I don't even know what happened. I really, to me, it was just a challenge of the combat. That's why I played it. I just enjoyed that section of it. I wasn't really that interested in the story. I don't think the characters were like, God, what an arc this character's been through. And I mean, he lost his arm, fair enough, but.
You can win that battle and not lose your arm, that first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're good enough. And that's
correct.
I wasn't.
Well, you can win the battle, can't you?
Yeah, you still lose your arm.
Yeah, otherwise you can't play the game because of all the fucking tools.
That should be a secret ending, to be fair.
What?
Just end it there.
So, so hang on. So in that battle, in real time will lose the battle in most cases.
You're supposed to lose that. Yeah, it's one of those battles where you're supposed to lose.
But if you do beat him, how do you lose your arm then? Do you get trapped?
Someone else chops it off. I can't remember what happens. Yeah, someone else chops it off, and you don't see who. Just a knife comes out somewhere because he chops it off normally, and then but this one he sort of goes down to his knees and goes, "Cool, wasn't expecting that," and then someone else comes out, but you don't see it. Just see his sword and go, "Cool," off with your arm.
That's the real ending, apparently, if to not get your arm chopped off by him, but I hope you both have done that. So, Biff's no use during the story section, Adkins. You're going to have to sort of carry this around. Can you set up what's going on? And the one thing I want an explanation for is it's set in like a samurai, ninja-based thing. Why are the giant turkeys running round?
Because in rich mythology, in the 16th century Sengoku Japan period, there were giant turkeys. No, they weren't. But I don't know why they've stuck that in. I think that's their version in... Was it in Bloodborne or Dark Souls, where there was like chests that would eat you? So you go, "Cool, I found a bit of lore," and then you'd open this chest and it would just eat you. I think that's
Dark Souls.
That Dark Souls, is it? This is their version. So you're like, oh, fucking just come into this little farmyard. There's a little turkey over there. Well, he won't be hard to beat. And then, bang! They fucking jump at you and peck you. Okay, bastards they are. But
what's going on? We've lost our arm, and then
lost your arm. Yeah. So the story is that you are a shinobi.
What the fuck's that?
A ninja, basically,
right.
A protector of the realm. Well, protector, and you are a bit of a stray. You ain't got no family, and there's a war hero. There's like a war that's going on. The game starts, and a man sort of adopts you. You become a shinobi. He trains you up, and he's your father. And they call him the
a lot
App.
like grooming Adkins. Are we sure we want to go there?
And then basically you grow up, and he gives you a task of being this personal shinobi to a little chap who's the heir of some throne, but he has this special blood called dragon blood. Is it dragon blood or dragon something? Hold on. Yeah. And basically, there's this evil empire bloke who wants to take over the sort of area you're in, being the bastard that is the last boss, and he wants to take it over, and he wants to kill this little kid that's got this special blood, and it's basically that you've got to protect this young chap.
Right, but there's no like what do they call it? Like escorting around of this chap. It's all
no
via cutscenes, and he's going to move around.
Yeah, he moves around the thing. You have to go to little areas where he is. Did he get? Oh, I think he's in captivity at the beginning. Then you sort of bust him out.
Yeah.
And then it just carries on. But it's all basically protecting him, and then sort of it starts poisoning people's minds, and they become sort of they want to get it themselves. So it's a bit of betrayal in there. There's a bit of a revenge story, there's a bit of a revenge story in there because you can't fucking chop your arm off. So
yeah, it's not going to go down well, is it, in any circle? So there's enough there for people to latch on to. Yeah,
it's not. It's like it isn't an amazing story. It's not like the likes of God of War and Uncharted, but I thought it was good enough. It kept me invested. I wanted to know what happened, and I quite like some of the main characters. There's a few there that you're sort of thinking, who the fuck are they?
Yeah.
But I'd say there's like the main sort of 4 or 5 characters that are semi-interesting. But
nice.
Again, you are getting drip-fed this lore through a lot of little conversations where there's not much happening, just in-game.
So that's when you walk up to someone and say hello, and they start chatting.
Again, it's about a sort of 2-minute conversation. You just sit. I'm with Biff. I was skipping through bits of that.
Oh, for
sort of not
sake.
skipping, but speeding up.
No, go at them, boy. Have 'em.
Reading it quicker than they can say it. So just skipping through that sort of thing. No skipping the cutscenes though from here.
No, not on purpose anyway. Beth, you mentioned that you like the setting of this game and the combat itself, but I want to focus on how the game looked, ran, and performed. How was it? Does it look nice? Is it a graphically enticing game? The environment's nice, enemies, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with it. There's a lot of like I don't know what you really like, meadows, like little meadows. You can jump down in them and use them as stealth, and they sort of move with the winds. And it's very sort of feudal sort of Japan. It does look very picturesque, and it just is a very good looking game. I thought it was anyway, and the enemies all do look good. And it was quite crisp as well. I know it sounds a bit weird, but because his sword is moving quite fast, I thought it ran pretty well. I didn't really have any problems with anything. But yeah, I was impressed with the overall look of it, and sort of I mean, I don't know much about Japanese lore, but there was certain...
Really? That surprised me.
But there was certain large enemies in it, and they were like quite... There's like a giant snake. It's quite cool to see that. There's a big giant goldfish as well. That's quite cool to see. So I was overall impressed with how it looked and sort of how it performed. And like I say, I like the setting and that of like feudal Japan. I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah. And you played that on the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
Adkins was master race for this, and Biff's had a solid experience there. Adkins, not so much on your side. There were errors, there were crashes, there was all sorts, and you had a bit of a horrible time. I mean, I know what you're going to do. You're going to try and blame the PC, but let's just be honest with what happened here. The game crashed on
around
this.
the bush. You should be able to have a filthily PC full of dust. And
I ain't clean mine. I'll tell you that much. I'll just get rid of it when they get like that.
It was getting on my fucking wick. Because what happened? I played about 3 hours, I think, when I first bought it. I was like, made a bit of progress and thought, brilliant. Then I think other games come out. What must have come out early this year? Some big ones. Got sidetracked, standard. I thought that might have been the end of me. Then when Biff got it, that gave me that second urge to go back to it. It's like, right, well, if he's doing it, I've got to try and match it, sure. I think he's already snubbed me with fucking Last of Us. Then, then basically, I played it for a good 2 hours, and then I got past the first. There's quite a few different. Basically, you get bosses and mini bosses in this game, and they're not sort of labelled down for you. It's just anyone with more than one death blow, is what we'll explain in a bit. But so I'd say probably I'm talking about the drunkard Biff. He's probably the first big boss that you come across, I'd say. Maybe there's a couple of other little ones.
But that drunkard's in that little dream world where you fight Lady Butterfly, isn't she?
That's
like
right,
optional.
Yeah, just before, yeah. He's an optional bastard. You don't have to do him.
Yeah.
But he's a pisshead, so you want to put him down.
You want to put him down. So I'd done him and I was well happy with myself. Text Biff and that's like, got past the cunt, brilliant.
You did,
and
you put it in fucking Killian's and that's when the trouble started.
That's it, and then all of a sudden, it crashed and it erased my fucking save game and chucked me back 3 hours. I was like, cool.
That's a beautiful piece of karma, isn't it?
From there, that was it. I just had persistent crashes and it just could not progress.
Could not survive.
Tried everything, could not survive. To the point that I almost binned the game. I was like, well, this ain't happening. I can't be having this.
You have to get it on PS4, maybe.
Exactly, yeah. So I did consider. Then I opened my PC and realised it was like an absolute dust ball in there.
It looked like someone had been smoking inside the case for about 15 years and just left the ash in there. When you showed me the picture, I was like, good Jesus.
That's probably only about 3 years worth of dust, but I don't know. This dust.
It reminded me of when you see a horror film and they go in the attic.
Yeah.
There's like cobwebs and stuff. It was like you'd been playing it up, you've left it up in the attic for 6 years and then decided to play it.
I swear I cleaned it out when I moved it into this room, so I don't know. But anyway, I thought that weren't going to be the problem, but give it a clean and it's fine now. So I managed to get through the game. But other than that, it was pretty good performance-wise, especially on my rig. Mine's a bit of an older rig now. But it does the recommended specs that it says for running the game are exactly my specs. So I just got away with it. But yeah, like I say, it seemed to be running at a solid 60 for most of it. There's a couple of dips here and there. But that is why I wanted to get it on PC for that 60 FPS. There is an unlocked version on the PS4, I understand, but it's not a solid 60. And that's down to I watched a video and they said that that really does help you having a solid 60 because you get that little extra bit of frame.
Yeah, so it's fair to say actually that Biff's sort of done it on hard mode.
Exactly. Yeah, he's played the 30 FPS triple hard mode, so he's one up me again.
Yeah, you might have to go back and sort that because that seems like a bit of a discrepancy there. So the game itself looks and runs nice. So you obviously had some PC specific problems, but important to call out because that's why that master race isn't what it's cracked up to be sometimes.
Yeah, that's the thing that normally bothers me. But no, very good looking. Probably get higher textures on PC, but my old rig only does run 1080p, so limited.
Yeah. I want to move on to how the game functions in terms of how you progress and its design because with Bloodborne and I've not played Dark Souls. I've finished Bloodborne, obviously the hardest one of the lot as we know. It's a fairly simple loop, but you'll go into an open area, have loads of different paths leading off it. There's normally a way to progress, but along your way you sort of unlock lamps and little checkpoints or bonfires as they're called. You kill enemies, collect souls, or I think they're called blood echoes in Bloodborne. Use that to level up your character, and then you can add those to certain specific areas of your character, make them stronger, make them take more damage, stamina, that sort of business. And what I really liked about the way Bloodborne worked was that the design of the map and the design of the world was really clever and linked up. Like once you get to the opening part of the game, up sort of past Gascoigne, it really opens up and has a lot of different shortcuts, and it's quite clever the way it comes back on itself. Does, and this is one for you, Biff, does Sekiro follow that same sort of level design, and how does the leveling up and the character sessions work? Because I'm hearing it's a lot different on that front.
Yeah.
I'll phase you. You ever go? See if you can phase me.
Yeah, so there is like various ways you can go. You can sort of skip parts of certain maps. Some of it, because there's a lot of like fast traveling as well with it, so you unlock these little idols and then you can skip from idol to idol, and it makes it easier to get about. And you can sort of in different sections, so I think there's like Sheena Castle, I think it's called, then there's like one called the dungeon, and different sections, and within those sections there's like these idols, but you might not find all the idols in that section. It's sort of quite open. You can sort of some of them I didn't find till the end of the game. So it's quite easy to like maneuver around the game. But
Quick
it's
question on those sections, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you walk from one section to the other, like freely, or is it like, I've got to select to go to the castle, I've got to select to go to the meadows or wherever it might be? Like the sections, like these different areas that you're talking about, is that somewhere you can freely just walk through? Like you go from the start of the game to the end of the game without breaking it, or is it like a transition that needs to take place?
No, I'm pretty sure you can. I think you can go. You can just walk from one place to the other. You don't even have to use the idols. You could just walk. But it'd take you fucking ages, and you probably would get lost, because it is. I found it quite getting. I got lost quite a bit, Adkins, and I was like, I don't know where I'm going here. But they're quite good, because you can sort of backtrack and then think, oh, I've been to that idol, I know where that is, and when you go through the idols, it takes there's like a little photo of where the idol is, and you can think, oh no, that's not where I need to go, that's not right. And that's sort of how I worked it. But I quite like the way, because you can freely maneuver around, and then you find that you might go to a castle and then another section will open up, and then you go, oh, that's how I can get to this bit, and that's how I can get to that bit, and it sort of all loops round. It is quite clever how they've done it.
That's good.
It is similar, but it's not. There's not as much backtracking as I found with Bloodborne, the little that I did play. So you can manoeuvre, but it's not sort of constantly taking you through. There is a sort of loop, but you're not sort of constantly going, right, well, I've got to go back to where I started now, and then go to there, then go back. But and you do get a lot of these doors where you'll find a door, and then it will be like locked from this side. And then later on down the game, you'll open it and you'll open the door and go, oh, it's here. Oh, bloody hell, I forgot about this door.
Yeah, interesting. So one of the key things that Soulsborne games have had previously, and it's kind of been a staple, is that you collect your experience, and then if you die whilst you're out and about, you lose all the experience, but you get one shot to go back and find that enemy, and if you kill them, you can get your experience back and then cash it in at a bonfire or a lamp. Is that how Sekiro works, or is it a completely different model when it comes to upgrading and experience and any other currency that you might get?
No, and this is why it's a lot more brutal, I think, than...
Well, you ain't played the outcome.
Because on Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you have a chance to get back what you've lost.
Yeah, then you don't get it back and you lose the lot.
Well, that's true, yeah.
I've done it. 100k's worth. Fuck me, he threw the controller through the window.
So this, any XP you build, you have XP and a currency. I can't remember what the bloody currency is.
Call it gold.
Yeah. Is it gold, is it? It probably is gold.
I think it might be gold.
Yeah, it might be gold. Coin, yeah. Well, it's gold coin. They're the two things that you get.
Coin to your Witcher.
So every time you kill an enemy, you gain a bit of XP and a bit of gold, and you have to suck it up through this magical vacuum he has in his stomach. It's never really explained that mechanic, is it?
No.
Well, hang on. You don't just get it from kill. You have to walk over it and press a button, or will it just
you have
automatically...
to hold square or X, whatever it be, and it will do this little sucking hoover motion in your stomach, and then you pull it in whatever you gain. And there's another little currency you get as well. These little, I forget what they're bloody called now. These little crosses that basically they're
Oh yeah.
you get a second weapon, like an alternative weapon that you can use, but it costs this currency to use it. And that's where you might have seen like an axe, where he pulls that thing where you can pull an axe out and chop people with shields and stuff. But anyway, as I digress, you get XP and coin. If you die, but saying that you do get 2 lives, you get this resurrection
Right,
system.
sounded like fucking kids mode, this.
So if you die, you've got one more chance. Your shadow dies, and you get a second try. But if
you raise yourself there in that grave spot, you don't go back to the
no, you don't. You get there, so you can. The enemies will start to walk off, but the second you press that resurrect button, the fuckers turn straight round and wallop you again.
So you can't wait till they get a little bit further away, get up and try and stealth them.
They seem to be alerted to every time you do it, and I've never let them walk far enough away. But the only trouble is that I've noticed as well, if they you can let them walk off, and then their health bar will disappear. If you go back after them, it will reset the health bar. They fucking stopped that cheese, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the deal.
So if you die the second time, then you lose half of everything you've earned. So you could go on an absolute fucking win.
Yeah.
Unless you don't spend those points, you will lose half of whatever you've got.
Yeah.
And then, as you're doing that, every time you lose, so you go on a run, you lose half of what you fucking earned. You think, brilliant. Oh, that's fucking handy, isn't it?
You've had 2 shots at it, though, haven't you? So
you've had 2 shots at it. Then you also get punished for dying twice. They have this system called Dragon Rot, where basically, to spend those currencies in the game, your coin and your XP, you have to find like NPCs, and they all have different weapons and different buffs you can buy off them and things like that. But every time you die, you spread this disease called Dragon Rot that slowly kills these NPC characters.
Jesus Christ.
So you're getting punished for every time you die. Well, now when you're novices like me and Biff and you're dying left, right, and centre, I was fucking. I was like the fucking starter of the coronavirus here. I was spreading it across the land of Ashina.
Yeah, and if the NPCs get it, you can't use them.
No.
Right.
And then you have to get some Dragon Rock cure, and they're quite rare. They're like rocking all shit, and you have to get one of those to cure them, and then you can then use the characters again. But it is like you say, and the thing is as well, it's just like a build up of everything, because you're dying. And you go, fuck, this is so fucking hard. Oh, fuck. And then you're losing all your gold. And you're like, fuck. And you think, you know what, I'll go and visit this guy. And he's going, coughing his lungs up because he can't. And then you're like, And it's that build up of everything where you just think, this is fucking too hard.
Yeah. So can an NPC die for good? And that's it. They're gone from the game. And then
you don't cure them within a certain, I don't know how long it is, or.
Did either of you experience that, or did you manage to keep everyone that you needed alive?
I lost some beginning ones. I don't know about you.
I didn't lose anyone.
Oh, so he won.
On hard mode, and he's done that. It's unbelievable.
Not even the ones at the beginning?
No, I managed to find something pretty quick that cured it. Yeah.
Is that a timer, the dying thing, or is it like if you die again, they'll just sort of tips them?
What the NPCs or yourself?
Yeah, the NPC, sorry.
Oh, no, it's obviously a timer, but it's not one that you can go by. I think it's depending how far you go in the game.
Right.
Get past a certain point, then
it tips them.
Yeah, it tips them, because there's certain parts of the game where certain characters could get it, so you have to get to that bit for them to basically to fail. So yeah, I think it's tied to how far you get into the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So could you, in theory, kill too many of these NPCs and even make the game harder than it already is?
Yes, definitely.
Could it be a fail state?
I don't. Well, it's not. It would for shit players, which I'll probably include myself as that, because if there's certain like these secondary weapons, we call them, that you can get. I think there's some that really benefit you for the end boss fight, and I think without them, that would have been fucking hard to beat. I wouldn't say impossible, but it does make your experience fucking hard if you just keep dying and thing. But I'm not sure if the game sort of will make those rare items to restore it. Maybe if you keep dying so much, they might make it less rare for you to find. You think, oh, there's one that comes across. I'm not sure. Maybe they ain't that unforgiving. But the fucking game itself is absolute brutal. So maybe they
No, you
do
can
go
make-
well. Fucking.
Did you know, Adkins, you can make the game harder?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I didn't realise. Well, I nearly did as well.
Yeah, I nearly did.
Googled it.
I googled it because
I was like,
frightened.
fucking hell, I'm glad I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, is that well? I don't know how much you want to divulge. But is
Not
that
really
a setting, or is it like a choice that you make, or is it something
It's a
you can?
choice. Well, it's not really
activate?
a spoiler. Basically, it's not until about halfway through the game.
There we go. Another fucking day's gone.
Yeah, you come across this random bell.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck is this? And it said, do you want to press it? And I was like, hang on. Is this going to take me to some horrible boss? So I Googled it just to be sure, and it said, yeah, that it increases the difficulty. And I thought, fucking hell. But again, it doesn't tell you. It just says, press this bell if you want.
It gives you like a clue. It says like true shinobis ring the bell or something. It's something like that. And I thought, well, I'm a true shinobi, but I'll quickly Google it. And then I was like, no, I'm not. I'll leave that.
They have a way of sucking you in, these games, making you do stuff that you don't want to do. There's a part in Bloodborne that it goaded me into it, and it was a mistake. Like it really tests your ego, and they're like, right, you think you're hard, do you? Try it. Do this. Give us the real hard shit, and I really regretted it after that. But that's interesting. Biff, you've mentioned that the story didn't really grab you. We've been skipping through bits and pieces of that. You like the look of it, but the FromSoftware boys will always say, well, it's unparalleled when it comes to its mechanics and its controls and the combat itself. Yeah. Are you able to vouch for that, Biff? Is it a transcending moment in gaming, or is it just a pretty good sword fighting ninja game?
I don't know if it's a transcending moment. I don't know if I can make that call, but
are you going to shut him up, Adkins, or are we going to?
It works really, really well. It really does, and it's sort of like, it is a harsh learning curve, I'd imagine, like the Bloodborne game, but once you get it, and once you're in that ring, it's a bit like was it Fallen Jedi, the Jedi game?
Yeah.
Where the combat is, you think, fucking hell, this is quite hard, but then once you get it, you think, oh, this is really good, and it's sort of a similar thing except a lot harder. But once you get it, and you can take most people on. I mean, you have to still learn their moves and things like that, but the mechanics are pretty much the same in all of them. But yeah, it is really good how they do it, and you do actually feel like, even though I think there's only one button for attack, and there's the one for secondary, but you sort of really feel like you're really fighting, and there's a really sense of accomplishment, and you're better in that person. It is clever how they do it.
Yeah, and it's got some level of stealth in there. Did you partake much in that, or did you just sort of steam in and just rip people in half and try?
I use the stealth a lot. I really did, because it helps massively. Because if there's 5 or 6 geezers there and you go running in, you got to fight 5 or 6. Even if you can just kill one, you've improved your odds no end, because you can get killed by. I mean, those giant turkeys you were talking about, I've died. Do you know what I mean? If they get fucking hold of you, they'll rip you to shreds.
And it starts varying, doesn't it? You'll get some fucker with a bloody axe. You get one with a sword. You'll get fucking bloke with an bow and arrow and a fucking rifle.
Yeah,
you just fucked if you come across 5 of those bastards in a row. So yeah, you do have to rely on that.
Anything can kill you in it as well. That's what I quite like. Like if you get arrogant, you go, fucking dust him off, and then before you know it, you're trying to revitalise yourself and that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky to get a second chance at it. Adkins, how do you find the combat itself?
I thought it was incredible. I think it's the best sword combat in any game I've ever played. I think they've done
axe combat.
No, not as good as it. God of War.
What about, let's put them both on the same standing. Let's say we remove the actual item. We say God of War's axe versus this fucking little sword that we've been given.
I really like the throwing of the Leviathan axe.
Yeah, I did as well.
That was good. That was quite fun. But just the way the swords clash in this game, it really does make you feel like you're having a proper sword fight. Like a Japanese film or something.
Fucking turkey.
Yeah. Every time you lever that. And it's you really have to learn how to parry. It's almost like a bit of a rhythm game.
Yeah, I find that as well.
You sort of had to learn the rhythm of each enemy, and you had to sort of time that parry for exactly when he hits. And then there's this a parry move that you learn called the Miraku counter, which is basically where this enemy will attack you with an unblockable attack.
Yeah.
And it will flash up with like a little red Japanese sign.
Give me
And
the
you
answer
have to
again.
time it, so when the weapon strikes you, their weapon hits you, you have to press a different button. And if you don't get that exactly point on, it fucking wallops you, and sometimes it's a direct kill. It's a one
Yeah,
hit
it's
wonder.
pretty much either 90% death or
Yeah.
it's one of those. And some bosses they'll have 3 or 4 different of those like unblockable moves.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
trying to
yeah,
learn
yeah.
is fucking horrible.
It is fucking odd. But yeah, in terms of combat, it would have ruined this game if they had stuck a stamina bar in this. I think that is the godsend of this game, that you have no stamina to rely on. You can literally just run in and fucking chop them to bits. But if you just run in there and smash and saw them, you have and also another gauge other than your health bar. You have what's called a posture gauge. And you feel that. So if you just hold block the whole time, every time they hit that sword, your posture meter will go up. If that goes to fall, then you're fucked. You sort of run out of gas, and then you're open for an attack.
Yeah.
But on the other hand as well, the bosses will have a posture gauge as well. And some of them you won't ever really hit their health. What you're trying to do is get their posture gauge down, so you'll block everything they do and they won't hit you, and then it leaves them open for a death blow counter. So sometimes you don't even try and get their health down, you're just trying to get their posture gauge down, so that's quite a good little flick on it as well.
Yeah, that helped a lot. I think I did that, maybe even 2 of the fucking triple of the M boss, that I fucking end up just working on his what's it called, meter, his counter.
Posture.
Posture, that's it, posture fucking bar, because his health bar just weren't fucking going down.
No. Talk me through these death blows then, Biff. How do they work? So I've heard a lot of this in the group, flying around, how these death blows operate and what they're used for.
So basically, the boss will have a health bar, or your boss will have a health bar, and then 2 or 3 red dots. And if you get his health bar down, you'll then get a chance to do a death blow. And then say you'll block him or you'll hit him, and a little red dot will flash up on his body. You push it, it'll stab him, and then he'll walk away. And on his health bar, it will go back up to the top again, but you would have taken one of the red dots away. And the idea is to get rid of the red dots, and that's what kills him. And various bosses have more red dots and less red dots and bigger health bars, etc., etc. But yeah, so it's as soon as you see one of those death blows, you think, "Fuck, this is not going to be as easy as what I thought."
Yeah. Any rank and file have that, or is it that's only saved for like bosses or sort of higher end enemies?
Yeah, I think so. It's not really any normal enemies with death.
You can death blow anyone.
No, yeah, sorry, but what I mean is...
Oh, what you mean on their actual health bar?
Yeah, their health bar, yeah.
So normal enemies just have one, didn't they? And you can even, so the majority, you could just hit... a basic enemy, you could hit about 3 times, and then that'll break their posture bar.
And then you can steam in. I feel like a bit of a cheat to call it a death blow when it ain't killing them every time.
Yeah, it is.
They should change that.
But most enemies... The vast majority is a one-hit kill. I mean, if you stealth them, when you go up behind them, it'll flash red, and that's just an instant kill. You only have to hit them once if they don't know you're there.
And they look fucking cool as well, don't they? Like the animation.
Yeah. It does. It's brutal.
You like flip over their head, slit their throat, fucking pull them back.
You can hear it all hit. You can hear the blood like hit the floor, and you can hear it spraying. It is quite
proper like Tenchu style. You see like a spray of blood just go.
But even on some of the bosses as well, if you can stealth, say if they've got 2 or 3 death blows, if you can get close to them without them seeing you, you can knock off a death blow straight away, which is why
I think that's with any boss as well, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Fuck, I couldn't get past one of the fuckers to do it, but I'm pretty sure that's every single boss. You can at least knock off one
and get a good head start on them.
Yeah.
I kind of want. We didn't. I mentioned it earlier, but we didn't really get an answer as to how it worked. Is the upgrading or any sort of upgrading tree that you might have, Adkins, for this character of yours that I think we called Bill at the start.
Bill,
how does it work? Because as I said, Bloodborne,
Bobby
and
Sekiro,
Dark Souls, we'll call him Bobby Sekiro. How's it work? 'Cause my understanding is it's not the same as what the Souls games operate on in terms of like stats as such.
No, so
there's a lot of like skills and bits and pieces that you can add, trick arm or some bollocks.
Yeah, you've got quite a few different skill trees in this game. You do have a mechanic that does increase your vitality and posture bar, and basically every time you kill like a proper boss, like one of these mini bosses or a proper boss, they'll drop these things called prayer beads, and you have to get 4 of them in order to then upgrade your posture or your health.
Right.
So that's a mechanic in its own. Then you do have, I think there's about, what is it, like there's a weapon upgrade tree that you can work through. You have to. It's basically just like you will find little chests around the place, or you'll smash up some boxes. There'll be some random loot rain around, and yeah, you can upgrade your secondary weapons that we were talking about.
Yes,
because you can't do anything to your sword. You have this one sword; it doesn't get any stronger, it doesn't get any better. The only thing,
iPhone X, upgrading as the game goes.
You don't actually upgrade this at all. What you can upgrade is you have 2 other skill trees, which is called a shinobi skill tree.
Yep.
And I can't remember the second one.
What's it do?
Basically, it's your moves. So the shinobi.
Okay.
So the second one is obviously the weapon one, isn't it? Of course it is. So you own the shinobi one. You'll get like a different. You can strike differently. So you'll get like a triple combo move. Then you'll get like one where you can slide on the floor and slash, things like that. Then the second tree is one where you'll get different prosthetics for your one arm. Chopped off arm. Some fella makes you a new one. Just sculpts Buddhas all day. This little chap. He right old grumpy fuck, and he'll sit there and make you, and you find these sort of blueprints, I think they're called, around the world, and you can change your secondary attack. So I think you can get like them throwing stars.
Okay.
You can get an axe, and then there's another tree for that if you find enough upgraded tools. Yeah, grappling hook. You can't upgrade that, but that's something you get throughout the game anytime. Yeah. But yeah, so there's 2 or 3 different skill trees, but it's weird, yeah, because you're just unlocking different moves rather than actually upgrading. The only thing you really upgrade is your sort of health, but that's every 4 major bosses you kill. So if you're skipping these optional bosses, you're going to be ending up going into that last fucker, which has been quote unquote from most outlets is the hardest boss in any game.
Only about 12 though. These people haven't played the hard stuff, have they? They haven't played. The trouble is they've not played the broken stuff from the SNES, the NES, the Sega.
That's true.
There are levels to this game. The fact they got through it means that it's easier in a way.
I complete Biff save in fucking Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, exactly. Impossible. Biff, how much? Be honest now. How much of the game did you need some sort of support or Google for, do you reckon, either for traversal reasons, knowing where to go, or just boss tips or enemy tips? It's a common thing, it happens in all Souls games. Only the best do it with no help.
I mean, the traversal I was alright in. It just took me I did get lost, but I managed to find my way back. Or you can go and speak to someone and they'll go, I had to go and speak to a couple of NPCs and I found my way back. It's not too bad. It just does get a bit confusing. I'd say for every 10 bosses, maybe 7 I had to look up online. So it's quite a high amount.
But to be fair, you still got to beat them.
Yeah. Even sometimes you sort. The thing is, you said to me as well, try not to look it up too much because it'll annoy you. Certain ones, how easy they do them, and then you look at it and you think, oh, that's all he did. He just runs straight into him, just fucking hack the shit out of him. Okay, and then you do it 5-6 times. You go, well, that's not even a fucking. That was useless. That was just pointless. And then sometimes you have something in your head. You think that's the way I should do it, and then someone else says, no, that's not how I did it. I did it this way, and you think, oh fuck it. So sometimes it is more of a headache than a help. But yeah, most of the time it does. It just gives you like an insight, and you think, oh yeah, that's quite a good way of doing it, or that's a good way of looking at it. Or one of them will be like, oh, just keep your distance, wait till he does his attacks, and then when you see this, that's the end of his attack, and fucking go berserk at him, sort of thing. It's things like that. So yeah, I did have to have a lot of help, but there was the occasional one that I did do on my own. But yeah, it was more, like I say, about 70% to 30% Google.
Yeah. Adkins, you're the master of finding cheese and trying to cheat your way through the games. How did you get on with Sekiro? Was it cheese proof, or did you find a few little flaws that you managed to exploit during your journey? It's
not as cheesable as Bloodborne, I'd say. Where with Father Gascoigne, you just had
to played 5 minutes of it.
No, but with Father Gascoigne, you could just hide behind that rock.
You still died 8 times till I watched it on the stream. True. So, but I done it in 2 times, doing it properly.
Well.
So again, Biff's point proves the cheese ain't the way to do it sometimes because you get the idea in your head.
But no, there's not. Again, going back to this rhythm style, it's not more of a cheese. It's not really one that you can cheese. There's not enemies that have like unblockable attacks or hit me up.
What about this sneaking up thing? I'll keep it.
Sneaking up, that is. But then again, is that a cheese?
Well. It's like these tarantulas that we got told about. This making Tarantula Island.
Yeah, it's part of the game's mechanics, so it's questionable if it's a cheese. Wow, that's for them to decide.
Leave me out of it.
But yeah, I'm assuming most of the enemies I did sort of have a little Google of how to beat if I died. I stuck to a rule of about. It was a bit less than 10 times. For every 10 times I died, I thought, right, you have to Google this.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd watch, and it was just like a rhythm thing. It's like, right, so when they do this attack, you do this, and then wait for the next one. He'll do this, and it sort of, if you just go running in and fight him, it takes you a good few deaths to learn what he's doing. But every time all the bosses seem to have like second phases, so they'll do this pattern, you'll get past that, knock a death blow off, and then they'll change it up again. You think, oh, for fuck's sakes, you've got to start again.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was cheesable in terms of you could just look up and go, right, so that's what I'll have to work towards. But again, in motion, it's not as easy as reading it off a thing and doing it. You still have got to bring up the goods.
I saw someone one-shot Father Gascoigne once, and that to patch out the manoeuvre for it, they done like a sweeping move and knocked him up and over the railings, and he fell down like the little well and died instantly. But the FromSoftware went, no, that's not allowed.
I think there is a couple of bosses that you can knock off.
I have seen it in Sekiro. I've seen someone knock off like one of those mini bosses. A couple of those they've knocked off a cliff, but that's fair game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but yeah, in this type of game, you could just get what you can. And
you do. You have to just take what you can in these games. I mean, if you're saying someone got caught in a doorway or something, right.
That is a godsend when that happens. You're like,
when you fight that second drunk, there's like a little shed at the end.
Oh yeah.
I run through it and I looked at the door. I thought, there's no way he's getting through there, and he followed me in, and then I just fucking felt sorry for him in the end. I was like, God, he's taking an absolute hacking, this bloke.
That fucking toad in Star Wars. That first big toad cunt.
Oh, yeah.
He got stuck in the door. And I thought, that's the only way I'm going to fucking kill him. Early on.
So, cheese master.
It is. You've got to cheese and get what you can in this life. Otherwise, you will. Right, you can go the real way and do it properly, but who has the time?
No, I haven't got the time for it. Right. Any closing thoughts, Biff, that you wanted to raise before we go into the official sort of grading of it? Anything that you wanted to say that we might have missed, or any points that you wanted to reiterate about Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice from Software?
I wanted just I was quite happy. Like, it's quite a serious game, and it's like, very moody and things like that, and he's trying to find redemption and revenge and things like that. But some of the bosses are like quite funny. Like, the fucking drunk.
There's jumping turkeys.
Yeah, there's that, but there's like this drunk, and he drinks his drink and then sprays it over you and it poisons you. And then there's like a giant ape, and he shits in his hand and throws shit at you. And I thought it was really weird that there was like a little sense of humour with it as well, because it's like quite a serious, moody game, and then you fight an ape.
I thought you were joking when you told me about that.
Oh no, because I knew you thought I was joking. I was like, no, Adkins, he will throw shit at you, it will poison you. Get out of the way of those turds, because that will cost you. But yeah, so it's quite nice that a game that's this serious and sort of doesn't take itself way too seriously.
Yeah, so if anyone takes away anything from this, it's that you can get shit chucked at you in Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Well, that's what they were saying Bloodborne missed.
I don't think there's any of that going on, that's for sure. That is 100% moody, that one. They stuck to that. Adkins, same question for you. Any unique moments or anything you want to call out?
I don't know, we haven't really touched on the sound. The sound was pretty good. It was had like a soundtrack that sort of kicked in and out.
I was asked about the voice acting, but you had it on Japanese.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, I think it's by I don't know if that was on PlayStation. Was yours English or Japanese?
No, I changed it to English.
Oh, you did change it? Because I think it is Japanese by
default. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I was like,
That's the game. That's the real way to do it. So again, you both switch that off.
Well, I got halfway through.
Western mode, they call it.
Therefore, I win that one because I played half of the game in Japanese. So subtitles. True. But voice acting was pretty good. There's not really a great deal going on in terms of being this. There wasn't really some standout.
Verticality. This must be a new dimension to like a Souls game. Being able to get up and above things. That
was pretty good because you could use that as a sort of like a bit of a Far Cry scope in the area type thing. So you could like grapple up to a tree and then have a look at what's in front of you and go, right, there's that bloke there. But normally 9 times out of 10 you jump down and then some other fucker will come out of nowhere and go, gotcha.
Yeah.
There's loads of like hidden people hiding behind like walls and stuff waiting to jump out on you. Just a random enemy.
Yeah, they love that. They love an enemy that just is there just to get one cheap shot on you at least once during the run through.
Yeah, but no, I think the majority of it is pretty good. But yeah, I just reiterate that I did seem to get lost quite a bit, especially towards the end of the game as well. Because you could do the odd side quest, you get like a little task, but they're not, because nothing's waypointed or there's no markers. So whereas normally you go, right, I've got this, this bloke will say, right, go to here, you've got to get this item and then come back to me and then drop it off. But there's no waypoint to find that bloke, so you just got to stumble across him. Then he'll give you the item, then you go, right, I've got to get that. You've got to then remember in your head that you've got to go and get that. There's no quest or anything in your head that you I've got to go get that. It's not until you get the item that you then think, oh fuck, I've got that item. That's triggered me. Then you've got to remember where the cunt was. So you've got to go all the way fucking back to find it. There's no waypoint or anything.
What about for like the main missions? Is that
again?
A
That's
like just moving through, or is it similar?
Part of it. There was one that took me fucking ages, and I didn't know where to go because there's no waypoint. But I had to go back to the main mission character and reread what he'd said, because he said, and it said, "Oh, go across the roof, and there'll be these little like dust clouds
lanterns,
or whatever they were. Lanterns." That was it.
Yeah, I did that as well.
Hell. But I was wandering around for about half hour trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah, I did the same. So it's hidden in a secret room. You have to follow the lanterns, don't you?
That's it. Yeah. And I was like, right, fucking hell. If there had been a waypoint, I could have just followed that. So it doesn't hold your hand, which is, unanimous for this game, these type of games. But cool, I'll admit that I did like the old handheld where no one goes there.
No, it's because you feel like you're losing time. No, I could just be getting on with it. It's hard enough as it is without having to read this cunt's fucking cryptic messages.
Yeah, that's it. Everything was fucking cryptic. It was like, right, go across there, find these red lanterns, and Bob's your uncle. And you go, fucking hell. So where's Bob again? Yeah. So yeah, no, it was just it's difficult to sort of critique it on that, because as much as that's a bit of a quality of life aspect of the game, like a lot of people say, well, that's the Soulsborne's game, they don't hold your hands, you're supposed to learn like that sort of way of gaming, that's not how we do things over here. So it's hard to say, right, where's my fucking waypoints, where's my fucking markers, where's my GTA mini map?
Tossers though, aren't they? Let's be honest. If it was that good, every game would be made like it, and the fact is it ain't, and that's ruffle feathers, but that's the fact of the matter. No, it's good, but yeah, it really it needs your full attention. You can't go into this game sort of half-assed. You've got to read everything properly and really give it your focus. But it's the combat that really won it for me. The sword play, I'll say, unparalleled in terms of sword games. Yeah. Biff, this is it. Boom. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
5 out of 10.
What's going to be its official grading? You can use 0.5s.
So was it out of 10, is it?
Out of 10, you can use a 0.5 decimal if you feel that you're a bit of halfway house.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10.
Oof. Yeah.
And bear in mind, I didn't even think the story was good. So it shows you how good the combat is, the bosses and things like that.
So it's in a whole section of what would normally be good for you in a video game, and yet still...
Yeah, exactly.
One of the high... that might be the highest grade you've given out.
Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. I just didn't find the story that interesting. But like Adkins said, the combat is that good. It sort of makes the game worthwhile. Yeah.
Mm. Adkins, same question to you. Official grade, and he's laid the marker down. It's better than the 4.5 out of 10 that Dave John got. Gunner fuming.
Gala Funim. I'm going to go a full mark ahead and give it an 8.5. It doesn't get the 9 for me because of especially I think the difficulty spike for the end boss is too much. I think that's unfair. Yeah, that's bang out of order.
Done all that hard work.
Yeah, and they say the fucking hardest. I spent like over 2 days, like almost full days, playing that fucker, trying to beat him. And it's just such a fucking, like, most of the bosses are hard and they take some patience, but that cunt is unparalleled.
Well, do you know how many hours you spent on it, Adkins, on your Steam library? Is it?
Steam.
We got it.
I think it was
because I just want to give people a little idea of exactly what they're in for if they choose to take up this challenge, because they're normally pretty long games. Even if you're doing well at them, they're still big enough, but the fact that you keep dying...
That's the thing as well. And again, a lot of it's optional, so you can miss out stuff. I know for certain there's stuff I haven't done that I need to go back and do.
Me too.
But yeah, main story and a couple of optional bosses. It's just loading up now. But yeah, no, it doesn't get the 9 for me just because of that massive difficulty spike and the fact that I kept getting lost and didn't know where to go.
Well, you should have known where to go.
Yeah.
It's all written down in the NPCs, mate.
All this cryptic shit. 33 hours I played it for.
Okay, that for some reason is less than I thought it was going to be. It's a shame that the PlayStation doesn't clock it, because I think Biff was 50 hours.
I reckon it was more than that. Oh yeah, 30 hours. Yeah,
I did.
That last boss take me longer than what it took Adkins.
Yeah. I think it's because he told me how to do it, and then I sort of used that. I was teasing me my way through. I did. I played it quite a lot in sort of success. I played it through I think it took me about a week to complete, but was pretty much playing it like when the kids go to bed at 6. I was like, right, 6 till midnight, boom, every night.
6, yeah, solid.
So yeah, it was. And I think it's that type of game that if the more you play it, the better you get at it. That sort of thing. You learn that rhythm, and it starts becoming sort of second nature. If you play this game for 3 hours, have a week off, and come back to it, you're like, "Cool, what's that here? Fuck me, I'm getting walloped." So it is one of those games that the more you play, the more you learn, and it's just getting that rhythm. Like I say, going back to that rhythm game, it is just that sort of getting that style and working out what the timings of your parries and your counter attacks and that. Yeah. But no, it's definitely it's a rewarding game. Like, it felt so good to finish it, to actually get out, especially when Biff was texting saying he was going to bin it. I really wanted him to get past that bit.
No, you didn't. You want him to bin it so you could get to do it and go,
I don't think I would have done it if Biff had failed. I probably would have gone, right, there's no point. Fuck it.
There were so many times where I was so close to just fucking... It's the closest I've ever been. I'm sort of not quite a ragey person, but really? I nearly threw my controller through the TV. I was getting so fucked off.
Had Game and CX, I suppose just Game with you, innit? If Game would have been open, you would have traded it.
But yeah, just that's fine.
Now, game trading shops are on lockdown, so you can't. So that option was actually gone for you. You had no choice but to play it or sit there staring at a wall, which may have been what you needed to do. Just for reference, Biff, your highest score has gone to Horizon Zero Dawn. They got a 9.
Ooh,
so there you go. Just so people out there know what they're dealing with. Adkins, Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing were your last reviews. Doom Eternal got a 9.5, so a full grade ahead.
Cool.
And Animal Crossing crapped its pants of an 8.5 as well. So
yeah,
obviously
this is an incredible game, and I wouldn't dispute if people gave it a 9. My own personal thing. I just felt that the getting lost was too much of an annoyance for me, especially when I was sort of not rushing, but sort of just on the back half of the game, and I knew it, and I was like, right, I want to get this done now, and then getting fucking lost because I ain't read some cunt's cryptic message properly. And then, like say, that fucking spike, it was just silly. It was like, oh, this is a fucking ball ache.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's fair enough. I mean, 7.5 and 8.5 is no disgrace. For some reason in my head, I had the pair of you putting it a whole grade higher each, but that's I'm somewhat surprised, but also pleased that that's how it's come down, because what you can do is you can get sucked into... I remember beating Bloodborne and thinking, yeah, that's it, I'm the daddy, that's like a 10 out of 10 game, and it ain't nowhere near. They're good to play through, but they're not like...
It's one of
to
these.
me.
I think with the story, like Biff said, it's not an amazing story. I thought it was better than he thought, but it's one of those stories that, you know, when we completed this last week or whatever it's been, and I've sort of forgotten about it. It's not one of those ones that sort of stay with you, where you sort of think of like Last of Us and God of War and that.
That's because fucking Biff's played it 40 times.
Yeah,
that story.
True, but it's not got that resonating feeling with you. You know, I'm not sitting there thinking about Sekiro in my sleep, where, you know, Kratos, I think about him once a night.
He's not going to be happy when you tell him about his axe getting bumped down.
Bumped down. I should mod this game and stick a fucking axe on it. Stick the Leviathan axe. See how that goes.
That would be very cool. One last question for you both.
Got to be hyped for Tsushima as well.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I was going to
too.
ask about that. Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima coming out later this year. That could be a more...
It's going to be a watered down version of this, I think.
Well, we say watered down. Is it just a more accessible and a more enjoyable experience?
I see in a post the other day that they said that they're going to keep the sort of Bloodborne nature where everything will be open. You can go to it.
Yeah.
That sort of interconnecting world, I think it said. Yeah. Like
It's good. This might have been a good taster for it. And at least if you've done this, you can't imagine that Ghost of Tsushima is going to be any harder.
Well, for fuck's sake,
can they replicate that swordplay though? That's going to be the...
Yeah,
no, I don't think they will be able to personally, but we will see.
Just nick it.
If tomorrow there's a announcement dropped and it says Sekiro Shadows Die Twice 2 coming out October 2020, are you both going to be sniffing around trying to get that day one, or are you just going to be like, no, I've kind of done my time with Sekiro, I'm going to leave that and walk away from it? Biff, if you could answer that particular question first.
I don't think I'd buy it day one, but I definitely play. I think I need a year's break from Sekiro. Maybe like March time when the spring was out, I might go, you know what, it's time to don the prosthetic arm again and get the samurai sword out, but I don't think I'll get it day one, but I definitely would play it.
Rumour has it it's prosthetic leg, so different tricks coming out of that. That's just the rumours coming out of it. Adkins, would you be interested in going down this disgraceful journey again?
Yes, I would, but not day one like Biff. It is these type of games that I've been thinking about going back to Bloodborne, but what sucked me into Sekiro is because fucking Bloodborne's just brown, black, depressing, horrible shit.
Beautiful.
This fuck Sekiro, mate. You got fucking cherry blossoms. You got fucking...
Get that in Animal Crossing, mate. Yeah, catch it in the net.
Exactly.
With no stress of monkeys throwing shit at me. Why would I want that? I think the setting definitely has there's people that love these games. Like, I'm surprised Adcock hasn't played it, because he's played all the Dark Souls other than 2, Bloodborne. He's even played Dark Souls Remastered on his Switch in handheld whilst he commuted, which is an unbelievably poor way to do it.
What a way to go to work.
Oh, no, exactly.
Imagine that.
But for me, it's always been about Bloodborne. I like the setting of it and the enemies and the characters, not the characters because there weren't really too many in it, but I like that whole setting of it. Some people like the fantasy setting of Dark Souls, and you two obviously resonated with the shinobi and the ninja style setting.
I'll tell you one thing else that did annoy me about this game. It wasn't until after I found out.
Not to lose another grade, hopefully. Go on.
It's not really a spoiler, but there are
everyone that says that, it nearly always is. So let's just
there are multiple endings.
Right.
So deal with that. So I've just played 33 hours, sweated my bollocks off trying to get through it, and there's still another 3 endings I could get. I'm like, fuck's sake. And I think they're pretty much ones that you have to start from the beginning again and go through.
Same with Bloodborne.
And have different choices.
In fact, when Bloodborne ended, it just automatically rewrites the save from the beginning, so you can't even go back and change the choice.
This one gives you the option, and you can do it any time. You can New Game Plus it.
Right.
But
you can New Game Plus it, but you just have to start from
you have to start from the start again, right.
Yeah. You can't go back to just before the decision or whatever.
Oh, right, yeah. No, this one does give you that option, but I was like, for fuck's sake. And there are other decent options to do, so... But it's not that sort of game, you know. If it was like fucking Resident Evil, I could smash it out in 5 hours. I'd start thinking about it, but...
Not in this world.
Not in this realm. I'm just huge at that.
There you go. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice earns itself a 7.5 from Mr. Biff and an 8.5 from Adkins, not Adcock.
So should we call it 8?
What, you want to call it 8, do you?
Well, the two of them melded together, like, you know.
He's taking an average, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is his maths right? I ain't worked it out.
7.5, 8.5. 6
Split the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I'm going to, based on what you've told, I'm going to give it a 6 points. Stick the bones out of that one, boys. Those are our two greys. You pair, I bid you adieu, and thank you for giving up your time to talk people through Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I'm sure they've now got a better idea of whether it's something to go for or not.
Gonna come on in a minute and say, fucking cunts ain't even played it. Don't know what they're talking about.
Wow.
He doesn't even have a PS4.
Biff will get the trophies to prove it if he has to. He'll be posting them on social media, so we'll be sure to get those. But nothing more for us there apart from thanks for your time and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.